Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it feels like many years, but we finally have some Total War news. As from tomorrow, a beta will launch which will focus around the AI in the game. Yes, we're finally getting some changes to the AI in Warhammer 3. So let's talk about this because there is a big blog. This should be live now. We've been given early access as per usual. Let's read over the intro. Hey folks, at the tail end of last year, you saw us run a few of our hotfixes out for Total War Warhammer 3 via the beta function on Steam. This was invaluable for our teams as we readied some necessary game updates during the rollout of Omens of Destruction and helped us catch some last-minute feedback from you and ensure our updates were on point. Whilst we haven't needed to pull on that lever quite as much since we got back into the swing of things in 2025, it has encouraged us to think about even more ways that we can involve you in some of our more complex game changes, and work closer with you all to bring more improvements to the game. In that end, tomorrow, February 13th, we will launch a new public beta branch for Total War Warhammer 3 via Steam. This beta will allow you to experience and provide feedback on the latest improvements to our campaign AI, where your insights and experiences will help us refine and enhance the game. To understand what changes we're making, you'll read about all of the science from Principal Technical Designer Rostislav Borisov. I've probably butchered his name and I do apologize, down below. And if you can check back on this post tomorrow, you'll find detailed instructions on how to access the beta at the foot of this post. Yeah, the usual, just right-click your game, beta, there you go. We'll run this beta for around 2 weeks initially, bringing it to a close around February 26th. It'll be running on a modified version of the live game that you've already been playing today, so this beta won't be used to test any additional upcoming changes to the wider game. And we'll be encouraging folks to start fresh campaigns for this test in order to check best on how our changes are performing. I mean, yeah, that's always a lot of sense. You need to start a new campaign because the older one might still have a few bugs creeping in. So yeah, just better for everyone. Let's continue. Tomorrow we'll be opening up a new subforum over on the Total War forums to gather your feedback on the campaign AI fixes and improvements that we're looking to make, alongside a survey that will run throughout the beta that will invite players to share their feedback directly with us. We'll post that survey link in the news feed of the beta version of the game itself. But if you check back tomorrow, we'll have it updated on post. Okay, yeah, so the usual stuff there. Let's continue down here. At the conclusion of this first beta at the end of February, we'll comb through all of your feedback, pour over the data on our side, and come back to you to talk about where we're looking to make improvements and bring further changes. If all goes well, we're planning a second round of testing with an updated beta sometime later in the spring. Please keep in mind that this is our goal and to expect direct comms from us if this time frame has to shift. Campaign AI improvement is a big and complex topic, and our goal is to break it down into smaller pieces and address them with player feedback front of mind so we can deliver improvements that you want in a sustainable way. To those of you who look to get involved, thank you in advance, blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I mean that sounds good. A beta at the end of the day is kind of needed because like feedback, not everyone at CA can capture a lot of the issues. This is pretty obvious when you look towards DLCs and so on, and considering that a bunch of the people at CA are moving on to other projects, it does make sense to ask for player feedback in these cases. Some people might not be too keen on this. I kind of like the betas. I think it's been better for everyone all around. So yeah, let's jump in with everything that we need to talk about. Campaign AI improvements, and yeah, this proves that Sophia is kind of taking over DLCs from now on for Warhammer 3. Hello there, I am Rostislav Borisov, Principal Technical Designer at CA Sophia. I want to address an issue you have all been vocal about, idle campaign AI. We've heard your feedback loud and clear, and your concerns about idle AI behavior are well founded. The team has been working on resolving this and are preparing to roll out a new beta branch for Warhammer 3 to test some new AI fixes and improvements. Everyone has different preferences and styles when it comes to playing the game, so addressing the impact of these changes is something we cannot do without your evaluations and responses. So there's going to be 3 topics here. Query system, tweaks on how the AI responds to enemy agents. Good, that should be quite interesting. 2, aggression, tweaks to AI aggression to add more nuance. Okay, that's quite good, considering that right now the AI, I'm not sure if it's happening to a lot of people, but I'm seeing it more and more often, just stagnating, kind of like what used to happen in Warhammer 2. And finally, faction potential, tweaks to faction potential with a focus on AI to AI interactions, under the Shroud. When we refer to the Shroud, we are talking about the part of the campaign map you are yet to explore, which is different to the Fog of War, which covers parts of the map you have explored but have no line of sight in. This is good, actually. They're actually going to be jumping into faction potential. It's something that every now and then gets tweaked, but not a lot. So let's continue here. This blog will be updated with instructions on how to access the beta. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's jump in. There's a bunch of different little sections here. All of them are, well, they're not really that little. They're actually quite detailed. So it's quite nice to see. Okay, so the query system. During investigation of what's causing many cases of idleness, we discovered a fundamental problem with how the campaign AI detects foreign forces and how it reacts to them. There are two different mechanisms to detect foreign threats: a simple query system and an influence map that shows the extent of every force's range and strength of interaction with the assets on the map. The problem was discovered and subsequently fixed for this beta branch. Had to do with the query system. Inside the campaign AI exists a separation between assets that move and those that do not. Movable assets include agents, armies, and navies. Several of the queries that the campaign AI uses to decide if it should use its available forces for tasks, such as actively defending threatened territory, were incorrectly reacting to the presence of agents. In practice, the campaign AI was prioritizing tasks of the defend settlement where enemy forces are present type when any hostile agent was present. Oh! To prevent similar issues in the future, we've double-checked all queries function as expected, made sure all queries check mobile asset types, and improved testing processes to account for similar fundamental assumptions being wrong. So, right, if I'm understanding this correctly, an agent, which AIs tend to send out agents, was just confusing the other AI, which meant that they would just stay still. I wonder if this was also the case for some agents affecting their own factions, because it does kind of feel like that sometimes in the campaign map. It's really, really strange. I mean, if you've seen the pile-ups, you'll know what I mean. How will this affect you in-game? It means an AI-controlled faction will no longer immediately assume a defensive posture and concentrate forces near in settlements whenever any hostile agent ventures into their territory. This should enable AI factions to use resources that were previously went to the defensive response for their purposes, e.g. raiding enemy territories, concentrating forces to break through defended positions. Okay, I mean, this sounds pretty cool. I'm very happy about this. I'm a little bit concerned that, because this happens with CA a lot, that maybe then they get too aggressive. It's fine for most of us to deal with aggressive factions. There needs to be a kind of good marker there where a new player isn't just getting overwhelmed, because you guys might not know this, but sometimes, and this has been reported by even bigger creators like Legend of Total War, the potential and then everything else gets kind of weirded out in like easy mode, so people playing easy then get steamrolled. Alright, the next section is aggression. Over the course of reading and investigating community feedback, the team decided we need to revisit on how some of the campaign's AI top-level strategic decisions are made. We identified the component for desired attributes as a good starting point. The desired attributes component basically tells the campaign AI how aggressive it should be towards rival factions. An oversimplified way of thinking about is how the AI is thinking. Do I want to be friends with X? Do I want to fight X? Yep, okay, cool. Our goals here are to promote more conflict between AI factions and to improve the AI's decision making when it comes to desired attributes. Awesome, okay. We're testing AI aggression fixes in the two areas for this beta. One, desired attributes, decision-making improvement. We've tweaked how the AI assesses the strength of a rival faction, measures how close the armies are, and how much of a threat they pose. Okay. Negative multipliers for unknown factions, e.g. factions the AI is neither at war with, nor aware through alliances, other diplomatic interactions, etc. We've tweaked these to make the desired attributes for unknown factions trend negatively, incentivizing more warring between AI factions. This is great. There's way too much just blocks being formed. So this is quite good. How will this affect you in-game? It means AI will be more nuanced when choosing how aggressive to be towards known factions instead of befriend, ignore, or fight behavior it currently exhibits. This should add some shades of grey and lead to more varied interactions between you and your AI neighbours. On the other hand, AI factions across the map will be more belligerent towards each other from the start, which should help make campaigns more dynamic and varied for you across multiple playthroughs. Yeah, I'm happy about this. This is good. If it works as intended, keep in mind it's always a big thing to say works as intended. This should be quite good. It would be nice to just see less random massive empires neighboring each other and then nothing happening between them, so they all end up dogpiling on you. And lastly, faction potential. A cornerstone of the campaign AI's behavior is the faction potential system. Every faction in the game gets assigned a numeric potential value, which has an impact on many other systems in game. Said potential values varies between campaigns and difficulty levels and is incredibly important to how the AI performs. I will not go into details on the exact way faction potential works today, but it's something we could spotlight in the future. That would be very nice to see a spotlight of, honestly. I would really love a blog on that. One part of the faction potential is how AI factions interact with each other when under the Shroud. Our goals here are to promote more interactions between AI factions and allow more major factions more opportunity to organically grow and become stronger. We've made 5 tweaks to the faction potential for this beta. 1. A slight increase of major AI faction strength versus minor. Cool, more big factions are going to get larger and so on. 2. Slight increase of faction potential weight in auto-resolve calculations. Again, it's going to make them a little bit stronger. This is going to be very interesting for Malekith, who always gets a large empire. Lowered the minimum faction potential of minor factions. Oh. Okay. So yeah, major factions are going to be very, very big now. Well, it depends on how much it's been lowered by. We don't know the exact numbers here. Moderately increase the maximum faction potential bonus for AI factions under the Shroud. This allows for higher potential factions to defeat and conquer lower potential factions faster. Yeah, again, Malekith. This is going to be interesting to see how well Malekith does. It could just be we had the Order Tide, we had the Chaos Tide. It could just end up being the Dark Elf Tide now. And finally, small increase to the base faction potential for all factions on all difficulty levels. So they'll be a lot more active. The potential is what makes them active or not, so this would be very, very cool. So how will this affect you in game? Major factions will conquer minor factions faster and survive longer, decreasing the chance that they will be knocked out in the early game, therefore resulting in more diplomatic interactions and battles with them for you during your playthrough. It will also increase AI faction interactions across the board, further building on the tweaks to the idle AI and aggression above to reduce passive AI behaviors in general. Okay, yeah. This sounds really, really good. Obviously, keep in mind that this is all going to be a beta, so keep in mind bugs are going to be expected, so don't start screaming shit game if you're playing for the beta and you encounter a game-breaking bug. It's just how it's going to be. This is just not Total War, it's everything, right? It's always a big thing to keep in mind of. I know this sounds really weird for me to say, but I've seen people complain about the other beta, and it's like, yeah, it's an experimental build, that's what happens. You should see the builds that we get sometimes during early access. Like, some of them are just awful. It happens, right? But yeah, no, this should be cool. I'm looking forward to this. This has a lot of potential to be quite big. AI map stuff, I think Sophia have done quite well when it came to Troy and Pharaoh. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this affects Warhammer. Obviously, we know that Sophia are going to be doing a lot more with Warhammer from now on. So yeah, I mean, this would be a good way to see how everything goes there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. The blog should be live now. I'll try to update the actual link if I can, because when this goes live, I am actually not going to be at home. So it might be a little bit difficult for me, as I have promised my little brother I was going to watch him play football because he's joined a new team and so on. And I want to support, right? You know, that's always cool. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon.